me to leave before we can talk over how we know about your suicide?" The guy was good. Ted did want to know. "You have 5 minutes to explain." Ted didn't sit down. "Fair enough," Lynch said. "I'll explain it to you now. I work for some people who'd like to learn how a man such as yourself comes to know people such as the ones I have here." He placed a hand on the folders. "If you'll allow me, I'm going to open one of these folders and we'll take a peek in it. You'll get it right away. You're a smart man." Lynch opened the folder and placed it in the center of the table and turned to face Ted, who remained standing with his hands on his hips. The first page was a copy of a police file. Stapled in one corner were photos, front and profile, of a man perhaps in his 30s. His skin was tanned and his hair neatly combed and gelled. He peered defiantly into the lens, his chin raised slightly with his light blue eyes open wide. According to the caption, his name was Edward Blaine. Blaine has had a few minor brushes with the law in his time. Petty larceny, assault, Lynch said as he turned over the page. This time, he's accused of killing his girlfriend. Ted had been right about one thing. The folders were full of lurid photos. The one staring at him now was of a woman who had been brutally murdered, lying in the narrow space between a bed and a dresser. There were at least 7 stab wounds on her naked torso. Her name was Amanda Herdman. She and Blaine saw each other off and on, nothing too formal. He got cheap drugs for her, and every now and then they'd try something heavier. But from what his friends and her friends say, their relationship was an endless cycle of quarreling and making up. When she turned up dead in her apartment, the police started with Blaine. The guy admitted he'd fought with Herdman in a fit of jealousy, but of course he hadn't stabbed her. You want the punchline? They couldn't prove anything. Had to let him go. At some point, Ted had sat down. He couldn't take his eyes off the photographs. Lynch flipped the page. There were some close-ups, Amanda's swollen eyes, deep cuts to her chest, bruises everywhere. "Innocent?" Ted asked, confused. The bastard was careful not to hit her with his fists. Naturally, no murder weapon was ever found. His prints were all over the house, but there were none on the body. But he practically confessed when he admitted they'd fought. His lawyers argued that he had made his confession under duress, which was more or less true, and they could prove it. The technicality that got him off was the forensic analysis of the time of death. The prosecutor's expert placed the time of death between 7 and 10 p.m. Multiple witnesses testified to seeing Blaine at a cheap dive, the Black Sombrero bar, during that time frame. Seems he had been especially concerned with having as many people as possible see him there. He had more than 30 reliable witnesses. There was even security camera footage from the parking lot. Ted leafed through the pages. There were a few more photos of Herdman's body and copies of files with passages highlighted. "You get it now, don't you, Ted?" Ted was starting to understand. "How do your people know Blaine killed her?" "The organization I represent has informants inside the prison system. I'm not talking about criminals. We prefer not to deal with them. Our informants are lawyers, judges, and aides who know when a murder case smells funny. Our business is eradicating any doubt. As for Blaine, the explanation is extremely simple, though for him it was almost certainly a case of dumb luck, nothing more. We hired an expert and asked how they could have made such a huge mistake in calculating the time of death. He told us that the tests they ran depend on the body temperature of the deceased, which they take the moment the corpse is discovered. Core body temperature decreases according to an established—" Ted stopped him. "I know the method. I've watched CSI too." Lynch laughed. "I'll get to the point then. We figured it out when we visited the scene of the crime, Amanda Herdman's first-floor apartment, which is vacant now. There's an industrial laundry in the basement, directly under her floor. The main ventilation duct from the dryers passes directly beneath the spot where her body was found.